Good morning to you and everyone out there, especially those in our military, because you guys are going to like this story. America's best bombardiers are back and they're bringing the noise. Stop what you're doing and check this out.
Our story is one of courage over enemy skies, bravery in the face of adversity, and the fighting spirit of American airmen tasked to achieve air superiority. However, air superiority is not a birthright. Prior airmen earned this through deadly combat. And the gap between training and combat is competition. It is time to compete. Send us your champions.
Buckle up, folks. America's best fighter pilots have arrived in Savannah to compete for Top Gun. After almost 2 decades, the Air Force's historic William Tell air-to-air weapons competition is back. The meet will test the skills of our most elite airmen to ultimately name the best combat pilots, command teams, and intel units in the United States Air Defense. This isn't about the glory, though. The competition is also a way for fighter wings to refine their tactics, techniques, and procedures while promoting collaboration among different units of the Air Force. So stay with us as we bring you the best of the best and find out who's named Top Gun. The William Tell Weapons Competition is going to take place throughout the entirety of next week at the Air Dominance Center, and WSAV will have exclusive access to bring you all the action. So if you have that need for speed, WSAV is your wingman.
In our military report this morning, Savannah played a significant role in the first air defense of the United States. In 1916, the Army established a flying school on the outskirts of town. And by the 1940s, the Savannah Air National Base was training pilots for World War II.
Now the base is home to the 165th Airlift Wing of the Georgia Air National Guard and the Air Dominance Center. This week, the base welcomed fighter wings from around the nation, and News 3's Alexis King was on base for their arrival. She joins us now live in the studio with more. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning to both of you, everyone in Savannah, and especially those fighter wings. All the top wings from around the country usually come here for drill exercises. This week, they're here to compete. Savannah is hosting the nation's most elite teams as they perform under pressure, and y'all, they've arrived. And by this Friday, they're going to name the best fighter pilot in the nation. The commander and exercise directors at the ADC are ready to crown a champion. Take a look. After 2 decades, Air Combat Control in Langley, Virginia has resurrected one of the most honored competitions in aviation, the William Tell Weapons Meet. The competitions will take place at the Air Dominance Center, and let me tell you, the base is ready to make some noise.
There's going to be a lot of noise going on in Savannah over the next week. You're going to have all different types of fighter aircraft flying overhead, so F-22s, F-35s, F-15Cs, and F-15Es. F-16s as well as T-38s.
When you look up, you may catch a view of the elite teams that will be performing under pressure.
I would say when you hear the jets flying overhead, keep in mind that everybody's working hard to make this happen. While it is fun to fly and fun to do our jobs, it's intense and it's competition. We're doing this because we're trying, and we are the best military in the world.
It's not just about bragging rights. William Tell is back to reinvigorate air dominance and display the Air Force's lethal capabilities.
We are an Air Force built on air superiority, and we don't get an opportunity to practice that a lot, especially with this many fighters together on one ramp flying in a competition like this.
So get ready, Savannah. The flight wings are here, and we should be proud.
This competition, it is driven by the Air Force writ large, and they had the entire United States to pick where they were going to come and do this competition. And they chose Savannah, which is exactly where we want to be. They chose the Air Dominance Center because of not only what we have here, but the community that surrounds it.
So let's get out there and cheer on our pilots, our command teams, our maintenance crews, and intelligence units.
I'm ready to see some awesome jets here in Savannah making some loud noise and watching our best fighter pilots in the Air Force, Air National Guard, and Air Force Reserve compete to crown some champions, the best fighter pilots in the Air Force.
So if you guys hear a sonic boom or two this week, don't freak out. It's the William Tell Air-to-Air Weapons Meet. It's going to be taking place at the Air Dominance Center all week long. But you guys do have a chance to see some of the action for yourself. There's going to be an awesome demo above the beaches of Tybee Island this Wednesday at 11:30 in the morning. That event is free and open to the public. Good morning to both of you and everyone that's competing in William Tell 2023. This week, I got to meet some heroes, you guys. A legit 4-star general And a living legend. Take a look. Right now in Savannah, we have the best of the best from the United States Air Force. Pilots, weapon loaders, controllers, and intel officers, all performing at their highest level and under pressure to represent their wings and units. Their job is to protect the country, but 4-star General Mark Grace Kelly says competition is key.
And that will bring the best out of them. And that's what we need, because whenever we go to combat, you have to get the best out of everybody, and it's best that we get their best before we ask them to do it in combat.
This competition is about finding champions among the elite. Colonel Stephen Tracker Thomas breaks down the formula.
They've already competed at their home units. They've picked the best of the best from their units. Each unit's best of the best shows up to Savannah. They all compete, and we're going to crown some champions come Friday evening.
We're going to challenge these pilots to the maximum that they can possibly do, because it's only then that we're going to know where the cream of the crop kind of lie.
But it's teamwork that makes the dream work.
Oh boy. You know what? It is attitude, it is work, and it is teamwork that makes a champion.
And it's not always about taking home heavy medals.
And those people who go home without trophies and learn from it and come back, focus next time around, that's what a champion is, someone who gets knocked down 7 times and gets up 8.
The original Top Gun says confidence and persistence makes a winner.
You got to keep that feeling. I'm out to win this thing. So you give it your best. If you win, great. If you don't, that's okay. Come back next year.
And he would know. Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey III was the very first gunnery champion in 1949.
We won the meet, the 3 of us. They said we couldn't. That's our commander before we left Lockport in Columbus, Ohio. He said, if you don't win, don't come back. So we had an incentive to win.
He was also a part of the elite group of fighter pilots known as the Tuskegee Airmen.
I was part of a great group, the best the Air Corps, at that time was the Air Corps, and then later the Air Force, the best that they had to offer. We were.
And it wasn't like things were all rosy in the 1940s.
All we had was each other. That was okay, because we were out to prove a point, and we proved it. Now, when the group came back from overseas and put foot on American soil, they put a classification of top secret on the Tuskegee Airmen. That stays on for at least 50 years. They didn't want people to know about us because the program was too successful. It wasn't supposed to happen that way. We were supposed to fall flat on our face, but we proved them wrong.
One thing that may have helped was his passion for flying. Fast.
I liked it. I like speed. Fighter pilots love speed, so I was in my element.
Lieutenant Colonel Harvey says no matter what you do in life, the formula for success is the same for everyone.
Strive to be the best, no matter what you do. It's attainable. You're in control.
Wise words. And talking about being the best, let's go ahead and take a look at the scoring so far. So right now, the 1st Wing out of Joint Base Langley Eustis in Virginia is leading with their intelligence unit, pulling a score of 48.83. Now we'll take a look at the control and command competition. Right now it's being led by the 3rd Fighter Wing out of Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Alaska with a score of 14 in the knowledge category. WSAV is going to have updated scores each day on our website, WSAV.com. And don't forget, there's an aeronautical demonstration tomorrow morning at 11:30 on Tybee Island. This is your chance to see the action for yourself with your own eyes. You don't want to miss it, so grab the kids and head out to the beach to see some jets. Live from the studio, I'm Alexis King, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning to both of you, and good morning to all of you, all the pilots and maintenance teams and command crews that are here in Savannah. And as you guys are watching the maneuvers over our skies and listening to the soothing sounds of jet engines, we thought you might like to know exactly what you're seeing. So let's go ahead and meet the teams and the hardware that make up the best fighting force in the world. We're going to start with the 1st Fighter Wing from Virginia. Then we have the 3rd Wing out of Alaska, the 4th Wing coming to us from North Carolina, the 18th Wing coming all the way from Japan, and the 104th Fighter Wing out of Massachusetts. We also have the 154th from Pearl Harbor, the 158th Fighter Wing out of Vermont, the 366th out of Idaho, and the 388th and 419th out of Utah, and finally the 552nd Air Control Wing out of Oklahoma. So those are the guys in the skies. Let's take a look at what they're flying. The F-15 Strike Eagle is an upgraded two-seat all-weather craft capable of deep attack, tactical nuclear delivery, and air-to-air combat. It can fight its way to a target, destroy enemy ground positions, and fight its way out. Strike Eagle is capable of sustaining 9 Gs throughout the flight envelope, can carry a 12-bomb load, and fly safely at low altitude. The F-15E first saw combat in Desert Storm in 1991. The main function of an F-22 is air dominance. It can reach Mach 2 and supercruise. It features thrust vectoring engines and offers low observability. The F-22 boasts air superiority along with ground attack, electronic warfare, and signal intelligence functionality. The Air Force's 5th-generation warplane is the F-35. It has advanced electronic warfare to locate and track enemy forces, jam radars, disrupt attacks, and with advanced sensor fusion, pilots can draw information from onboard sensors to create an integrated picture of the battlefield, greatly enhancing awareness and survivability. And here it is, y'all. This is what it's like inside the cockpit of a jet fighter. The precision of the pilot, thrust of the engine, and aerodynamics come together to allow the United States Air Force to lead the defense community in the migration to the net-centric war-fighting force of the future. Sounds like a lot of power to me. In just a minute, we're going to take a look at the scoreboard from yesterday. I can go ahead and tell you that in the lead for the weapons load competition is the 1st Wing out of Langley, followed by the 154th from Pearl Harbor in 2nd, and the 3rd Wing from Alaska is 3rd. Now, in the banner target exercise, the 104th out of Barnes took top prize, with the 366th out of Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho coming in 2nd. So the William Tell Aeronautical Demonstration again will be this morning at 11:30 over Tybee Island. I really hope you get out and get a chance to see some of the action. It's pretty cool. And yes, it's so exciting out there, and we got to see some great demos out at the beach over Tybee yesterday, and I got an even closer look at the action out at the base. The energy was on full throttle yesterday as we watched teams competing for Top Gun and weapons load. You guys, take a look.
I am excited to watch this competition, to see our airmen out there doing everything they do every single day. The maintainers turning wrench, the intelligence folks out here making sure that our teams understand what the threat looks like, and our pilots out there competing. There is nothing more motivating than watching our airmen do what they do every day and make it look easy.
The William Tell competition is comprised of several categories. We got to see some awesome flight demonstrations over Tybee. Now, Major Joseph Waltz explains how pilots will be judged.
BFM, what you can think about that is 2 aircraft going against each other, so they fight, going flying towards each other. They go to the merge, and may the best man win, and we're going to score that. And then we have ACM, what that means, air combat maneuvers. We have a 2-ship flying together, and they're going to be going out there, and we're going to have guys jumping them left, right, from below, wherever, and they have to work together as a 2-ship to be able to survive.
There are also competitions taking place on the ground. They're going to score maintenance teams that work together like a pit crew.
And we're going to time the guys, how quickly they can load bombs, how quickly they can load missiles, and that will all go into the score. We're going to do that for the F-22s, the F-35s, and the F-15s. And then on Thursday night, we're going to compete them all against each other, and the top one's going to come out as the champion.
The Intel competition includes technologies that are so top secret we can't even show you.
We're also going to have an Intel competition where the top intelligence troop across the Air Force, they're coming here, they're going to get quizzed on what they have, their ability to recollect information, and we're going to find out that top person.
There are also command and control contests.
And finally, we're going to figure out who the top control and command person is in the Air Force as they're controlling all those jets that are out there in the airspace.
Yes, we will find our champions, but this competition is really about air dominance.
We care about air superiority, we care about elite competition and being the best of the best. That's why we're here, and that's why we will continue to be the best Air Force in the world.
Basically, our ability to control the skies over any piece of airspace around this world is something that we work really hard to do every day. It's hard to explain, it's hard to show to people, but these are the folks that go out there and make sure that our airplanes can operate anywhere. They make sure that our country is safe on a daily basis, and it's hard to really see that. You just see an airplane, but you don't realize the amount of power and the amount of protection that come out of those airplanes.
I saw the power, and the power was big. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some new scores that we got from yesterday's meet. The 154th out of Pearl Harbor, the 158th from Vermont, and the 4th Fighter Wing from North Carolina each won their bracket of the Air Combat Maneuvers competition. Now the 388th Fighter Wing out of Hill Air Force Base in Utah won the banner shoot, and congratulations, the 104th Fighter Wing made Massachusetts proud with their weapons load victory. Competitions continue through tomorrow, and we'll keep you posted. Also tomorrow, we're going to meet some local students ready to aim high in the ROTC program. And by tomorrow night, we'll know who's named Top Gun. Until then, you can find scores and winners on our website, WSAV.com. I'm Alexis King, on your side. And new this morning, the William Tell Air-to-Air Weapons Meet came to a finale on Friday, and they did find their champions among elite teams in the U.S. Air Force and Air National Guard. Here are the winning wings in their divisions. For fighter integration, it was the 3rd, the 366th, and the 388th and 419th. And as far as the F-22, the 1st Fighter Wing out of Langley took home Top Gun for their performance there. The 158th Fighter Wing from Vermont Air National Guard is the Top Gun for the F-35, and the 104th Fighter Wing out of Barnes in Massachusetts won for the F-15. Now, as far as the command and control prizes, that went to the 552nd Air Wing out of Tinker. And the top maintenance and intel went to the 1st Fighter Wing out of Langley, and the 104th out of Barnes also took home the trophy for weapons load. Congratulations to all the units, and thank you all so much for your service.